that has answer choices that are simply numbers. Let's get to it. 24, so this is in the first 30, so it's a relatively easy question according to the ACT. So as long as you don't get confused on the wording, you should be fine here. The lengths of the corresponding sides of two similar right triangles. So let me go ahead and just start drawing that out. This is a great question to give us an example of when you want to start drawing stuff out. I'm definitely one of those. Let's draw it so we can better see it. Are in the ratio of 2 to 5. Right? So this is essentially, if this is the bigger triangle, this is our 5 and this is our 2, right? Like that in terms of how they compare to each other. Right? I'm going to even put the ratio marks here between the two. If the hypotenuse of the smaller triangle is 5 inches long, so that tells us that this is our smaller. So this hypotenuse is 5. How many inches long is the hypotenuse of the larger triangle? So they're kind of like flip-flopping numbers because they're putting a 5 here on the smaller triangle, which is defined by a measure of 2, or our larger triangle with a measurement of 5, we actually don't know what the hypotenuse is. We're just going to mark that as, actually not even x, let's put h for hypotenuse because we don't know what that hypotenuse is. Well, this is a very classic case of creating a relation, right, or a ratio. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to recognize that I don't know what this hypotenuse is, but I do know it's equal to 5 in regards to it being a hypotenuse in the smaller triangle, but I also know that this hypotenuse is coming from a triangle of 5 that is equal to this triangle that has a smaller set of 2. So what I'm trying to say here is what I mean by equal is that hypotenuse here we don't know, but it's in the numerator, and so this numerator on the right, which is representing this smaller triangle, that numerator has to also have the hypotenuse measurement in the numerator, which is 5. And then the actual ratio relationship of relative size, 5 goes on the denominator for this larger triangle, which means that 2, that's the relative size for the smaller triangle, must also be in the denominator. You want common themes in your numerators and denominators. Hypotenuse and then ratio. Right? Okay, so with that all explained, you don't have to go through all that actually on test day. I just want to make sure that you understand my thought process. Is, okay, we have two fractions equal to each other, classic cross multiplication here. Okay, and what I see is I'm going to start with 5 times 5 because that's easy for me. I see that's 25, and then h times 2, that's just 2h. If I want to get h by itself, I'm going to divide both sides by 2. Now, that means that h is 25 over 2. You do get a calculator on test day, and you can just simply put that in there, and what you're going to get is one of these answers that I'm also going to show you another way to get to, is that I see it's an odd number divided by an even number. So it's not going to be a whole number. It's going to be something 0.5. And 25 divided by 2, 2.5 is too small for that, so I realize I don't even need a calculator. It's got to be k, 12.5. But if you feel more comfortable using the calculator, you want to use what works best for you, and you can do it that way as well. Best of luck.